Welcome back to round 5 of Split Decision. Now joined alongside by Chris Badboy Tickle. First off, thanks for joining us, Chris. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on again.
So a nice little win for you out there at Legacy Fight out there in Dallas on Friday. I guess going into that fight, let's just start off. I mean, what were your nerve levels? I mean, you coming off a loss at the Ultimate Fighter season finale. I guess what were kind of your feelings knowing that you had to, you'd cut down to 145 instead of 155, and you're taking on Douglas Frey. I guess what was kind of your emotions going into that fight?
Oh man, I felt great, man. I knew I was gonna stomp the kid. 45 is my weight bracket, and I felt great, and wasn't nervous at all, man. I've been fighting for a long time. I don't get nervous anymore. I was really anxious to get in that ring and fight.
So talk a little bit about the fight. What happened? And I mean, it ended quickly. A minute 03 into round 1. You won via TKO punches. Talk a little bit about the fight and kind of how it went. And did it go as expected for you?
What's that? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the fight, and then did the fight kind of go as you expected?
Okay. I came out. He tried to hit me with the jab. I stuck him with a 1-2. I threw a left kick. He threw a right kick, and kind of tripped me. He tried to take me on the ground. I immediately swept in a half guard. He tried to get a guillotine on me. It wasn't even close, man. It was a weak attempt. And then I just controlled him, and then I started hitting heavy punches on the side of his head. And then finally I knocked him out, hit him like 3 more times, woke him back unconscious, and the ref stopped it. Kid popped up all freaking out, saying, it was over, but he was knocked out cold. He went limp. And, I just told him, what's up, man? You're out, brother. And, I figured go like that. I'll beat him standing around the ground, doesn't matter where about, because it's dominate the fight, and I did.
So talk a little bit about, as a fighter, when someone does who you're punching, they get knocked out, how do you feel as a fighter? I mean, is it hard to keep going knowing that you have to wait until, the ref steps in, or is it hard knowing that, like, oh, shoot, I could be doing some damage?
No, man, you just keep on going, man. You keep on going until the ref stops you. I mean, there's a lot of fighters out there, if you knock them out dead cold, you can stop, but, me, I'm not going to stop. We're trained fighters. That's the ref's job. It's not our job. I saw that he went out. I kept on punching until the ref stopped me. And sometimes you get somebody, you wake them back up. That's what happened in my fight.
Kind of looking at before the fight at weigh-ins, it looked to me kind of beforehand Douglas Frey was maybe in your face a little bit. Was there a little bit of bad blood coming into this fight between you and Frey?
Yeah, he was talking crap online with some Houston reporters, some Dallas reporters saying he was going to drown me in deep waters. One of his coaches was talking crap saying he's going to knock me out. I was like, man, you guys are crazy, man. Number one, he's not even in my league. At 45, dude, I hit too hard. I have a chin. I'm probably one of the heaviest hands in 45 division. And that kid was talking about garbage. So I just made the kid look stupid. I made his team look stupid. And the best part was Johnny Bedford was in his corner, and Johnny's like, oh, I'm corner. I'm like, I care what you're doing, Johnny Bedford. Like, who the hell are you?
Yeah. But, I mean, going into a fight like that, though, so let's say a guy is talking trash and kind of getting your head a little bit and saying all this stuff. Does that help you, or is it really the motivation is just, winning and moving on, or does that help, give you a little bit more bulletin board material moving forward?
It doesn't bother me at all, talking crap, man. It just makes me more, eager to destroy you. But, every fight I go into, I want to go in the fight and dominate. That's what I'm trained to do. I'm a prize fighter. I want to win and dominate, and that's what I look forward to every fight.
So 145 is your comfort zone. Is that kind of where you want to stay, or is there any plans moving up to 155 or down to 135, or is 145 kind of where you want to stay?
55 is too big for me. The guys are way too big, man. I mean, I handle my own, but 45 is good, but, hopefully I can make 35. I never had a nutritionist before. It was an easy cut. I weigh 144.9, so, I think I can make it, man. We'll see.
Marty and our phones aren't super friendly, so Marty actually wanted to send some questions in. Kind of had a question about the promoter for LFC, Mick Maynard, and kind of your experience with him.
Yeah, dude, Mick is a great guy, man. Him and his wife Andrea, they took care of everything for me. They're great people. They're on top of things, and overall, dude, Legacy is one hell of a promotion. They're a nice show. Everybody was nice. Everybody was friendly, and dude, it was great, man. I would love to fight for him again.
So, I mean, was there a reason you kind of sought out LFC, or did they find you, or, I mean, how did that kind of come to you getting onto this card?
I I don't know. My coach, Mark Fiore, my coach and manager, contacted me and said, they had a junior sentinel that dropped out, man, and they wanted me to replace him. So, I jumped right on it.
There's, I guess, is your plan to keep fighting the LFC and maybe get a belt there? Or, I mean, obviously, the UFC is somewhere you got a little bit of a taste for. Is the plan to go there? Where do you kind of want to, I guess, see even your next fight and then your next 5 fights being?
UFC. The UFC is my home. That's where I want to be. The rest of my fight, UFC, I want to come home, I hope you guys are watching, and I deserve to be in the UFC. I just took a kid who was with 18 pro fights and made him look stupid on TV and dominated him. That's one thing. He didn't even punch me one time. I totally dominated the whole fight.
How happy were you? Because I know you had a wedding to go to on Saturday. How happy were you that you didn't get punched, so you didn't have a black eye going to the wedding?
Oh, happy. I never really get punched. The only fight I ever had a black eye was, I really didn't have a black eye. It was from Crunshank, hitting his little baby elbows on me. But other than that, man, I usually don't get punched, man. I try not to.
Okay, so Chris, you get one fighter at 145 in the UFC. Who do you want next? I mean, call someone out right now.
Dude, the top fighter is Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's beat Ross Pearson. Cub Swanson back on the radar. I want to skyrocket to the top. So whoever I got to take out to get there, I'm ready to fight. So
you're going to go after one of the big guys right away. You're not going to work your way up. You're just going right after Cub.
No. I'm here for one thing, and that's get the belt. I don't have time to wait around.
So, I mean, has there been talks? I mean, obviously, since, you won in quick fashion, probably weren't hurt at all. I mean, are you looking to pick up a fight as soon as possible, or are you looking to maybe take a month or 2 off?
No, I'm ready to fight right now. I'm in fight shape. I'm in great shape like I was on the show. Give me a fight. Whoever other wants somebody to fight, Dylan, I'm game right now. UFC calls me, say I fight next week, I'm ready to fight.
You're always ready to go. So, I mean, if the UFC were to call you and say, okay, we want you to go down to 135, 145, you don't really care where you're fighting. You're just going to fight.
I want to fight, man. 35, that could be a while for me to make it, but once again, coach thinks I can make it. Talk to nutrition, see what I can do. But, 45, I'm comfortable. I'm big and strong and fast. So, I'm great anywhere.
Talk a little bit about your team that you're training up in Illinois and how that's kind of been going. And, I mean, your fame with the Ultimate Fighter, has that brought more people into your gym? Or, I mean, how's that kind of going with your training camp?
Well, my gym, Treatment Adrenaline, is just all amateurs. But, my main gym, Mark Fiore, out of Springfield, it's good. We have Matt Beach just got back in the cage. He fought last night and won. Quarters, I got Bobby Brent, Jake Heck every now and then. I got a bunch of Justin Robbins and Brandon Wood. I got a bunch of great pro training partners my weight at my gym in Springfield, and training's been going great. Been doing 2 days since I've been home. Putting 4 to 6 hours a day in training, and I'm happy where I'm at.
Talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously last time you were on, we talked about the Ultimate Firehouse, so I'm not going to get too much into that now, but you made some connections through there, and occasionally I'll see some of the guys in the house still tweeting at each other. Are you still in connections with some of those guys? Any plans to train with some of those guys? Or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I talked to Lawrence, I talked to Celia, Michelle, Vic. I talked to Vic probably the most, him and Lawrence and Sam. But, I mean, it's just hard. My daughter's turning 1 next week. It's hard to get away, but, eventually I was talking to Coach about it. Eventually I'm going to take off and do a camp like Faber or Dom. It's just money and time.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about, Uriah Faber and Dominic Cruz. Are both those guys you still kind of keep in touch with? And you mentioned you kind of want to go train with them. Is there one over the other that you think would help kind of push you to the next level?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Faber commentated the fight on Friday. So, I got to talk to him for a while, hang out with him, the great guys. Faber and Dom are both great guys. Both have, serious camps. I'd love to go to both gyms and train.
I mean, how's the fame kind of been coming off the Ultimate Fighter? Obviously, the portrayal maybe wasn't the nicest portrayal of you. They kind of made you look lazy, which I know last time you were on, you said that wasn't the case at all. But
right.
How's the reception been from just kind of fans around the world towards you?
Good. I mean, everybody comes up to me, say they're big fans of me in the show. They take pictures with me. It's great, man. I'm just an ordinary guy, man. I'm just trying to make it to the top and fighting. That's all I want to do.
So next for you said you want the UFC, but if LFC calls, you're picking that up. You just want to fight, right?
I just want to fight, man. That's all I want to do is want to fight. Legacy said they want me back. Actually, they want to sign me to a contract, but once again, don't want to sign any contracts. Waiting to hear back from the UFC, but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. You just want to get a goal around your belt. Marty did say, kind of look at the LFC, and they've had guys like, Daniel Pineda and Andrew Craig, who are both in the UFC now, kind of work their way from the LFC. Do you see the LFC as a really good jumping off point for you, or is there maybe going to be another promotion between the LFC and the UFC?
I don't know. I hopefully just go right to the UFC. I think that's where I belong. And I just proved again last night. I just dominated a kid. 18-12 fights. So bringing that back at 145, give me a chance. Because I did great on the show. I fought two of the toughest, biggest guys in the house. Proctor and Crenshank. And Crenshank is one of the very top-rated fighters in the house. I went 3 rounds to a decision with him, which actually was a very close fight. So, I handled a 55 round about 180, 182. When I walk around at 156, 160.
You talked a little bit about Justin Lawrence earlier. Obviously, he lost a couple weeks ago. Is that hard to watch some of your buddies out there fighting and losing, or are you not really even watching?
Yeah. No, I watched it. It sucked. I talked to Justin a couple of days ago. I told him to keep it set up. But, it's a big cut. Justin's a big kid, man. He's never fought at 45 before. Number 2, he was in Colorado in the mountains and altitude. He's never been there. It's rough. You can't really recover if you can't breathe. I hit with a good body shot twice. So, all props to kid. Justin was doing.
So Max Holloway put Justin Lawrence away. Would you like a shot at Max Holloway?
Oh, hell, I'll whoop Max Holloway's ass. I would love that fight. I was just talking to my coach about that last night. Max Holloway's on a 2-fight winning streak, I think, in the UFC, 2 or 3.
Yeah, he beat. Here we go. I got this pull up. Yeah, he's won 2 in a row over Pat Schilling and Justin Lawrence. The only guy who beat him was Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good matchup, man, because he won't even try to shoot on me. He would stand up with me, and he's got no punching power, and I do. So I feel sorry for him in that category.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and joining us. Sorry that, Marty couldn't be in on this, Chris, but we do appreciate you coming on. Anything else you want to say, the UFC? I know you've told me you want to be a part of the UFC. What do you want to say to Dana White and the UFC if for some chance they're listening?
Yeah, hopefully you guys give me another chance, man. I'll prove myself. Give me one fight, and I'll dominate, and hopefully send me a contract. Sean Shelby, he liked me. So did Joe, so, we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much, bud.
That was Chris Tickle joining myself and Marty. Marty's and my phone aren't friends. But so that's it for this week's episode of Split Decision. Make sure to check out us every single week on Sports Geek Radio Network. Also, go on over to our Twitter page, Split DC MMA. Like us over there or follow us, whatever you want to call it. Also, go on to our Facebook page, Split Decision Radio. Also, go over to our YouTube channel, hopefully where you're listening to this, Split DEC MMA. You can listen to this interview with Chris. We also had one a few months ago with Chris Tickle. But thanks a lot to Chris Tickle for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your guys' week. We'll be back next week with a few more interviews. Also, a little bit more on getting ready for UFC 151. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a great week. You've been listening to Split Decision here on the Sports Geek Radio Network.